Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Well, today we're diving into something pretty wild.
Yeah.
AI text, it's getting so good, it's almost impossible to tell if a human wrote it or not.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Huge implications, right?
Yeah.
And the research we're looking at today digs into something called watermarking,
Okay.
which basically means like hiding secret signals
Mm-hmm.
within the text itself to help us figure out, hey, was this written by a person or a machine?
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Like a code, right?
Yeah, like a secret code.
A secret code in the words. Pretty crazy, huh?
It is. I mean, think about what this could mean. AI writing news articles, scripts, research papers.
Right. And we might not even know.
Exactly. It raises so many questions like, what about misinformation, copyright issues?
Oh, and what about like the AI models starting to train on their own outer output? What happens then?
That's a huge concern. It's called model collapse.
Hmm?
The AI could start mimicking itself over and over again.
And the writing would just get worse and worse.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with models like ChatGPT and Google's Gemini getting so powerful, they're already producing really human-like text.
So it sounds like researchers have had their work cut out for them trying to stay ahead of this.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
There were some early attempts to use what are called classifiers. They're like digital detectives that analyze text and look for AI patterns.
Oh, interesting.
But they weren't really a long-term solution.
Because the AI kept evolving and learning new tricks.
Exactly. You could just rephrase the text or change the style a bit, and the classifiers would be fooled.
Ah, I see. So that's where this watermarking comes in. Sounds a bit like something out of a spy movie, right?
It does, doesn't it? Instead of invisible ink, though, we're talking about digital messages hidden within the text.
Okay, I like it.
Think of it like a pattern woven into fabric. You might not see it right away, but it's there, creating a unique signature.
So who came up with this idea?
Well, there was this group of researchers, they go by KGW for short, who developed a pretty simple but effective method. They use these lists of green and red words.
So green means use this word, and red means don't use this word.
Basically, the AI is kind of nudged towards using the green words when it's writing, and that creates the watermark.
Wow, that's pretty smart. But I'm guessing it wasn't long before people started trying to figure out how to break it.
Oh, yeah. KGW was a big step, but it wasn't foolproof. With enough effort, you could figure out the green list and mess with the watermark.
So it became like a race. Watermark creators versus watermark breakers.
Exactly. And that's why researchers have been working hard to create even better, stronger watermarking techniques.
What are some of the other approaches they've been exploring?
Well, there's one called Synthetic Text, developed by Google. It's super efficient and doesn't really change the writing style,
Okay.
but it might be a bit easier to tamper with. So it's all about finding the right balance.
Between making the watermark tough to crack and making sure it doesn't make the writing sound weird.
Exactly. And that's where this new research from Case Western Reserve University comes in. They call it topic-based watermarking.
Ooh, okay. Topic-based. I'm intrigued. What's so special about that?
Well, instead of using a fixed list of green words, this new method actually uses the topic of the text to create the watermark.
Wait, hold on. So the watermark changes depending on what the text is about.
You got it. It's like a chameleon, adapting to its surroundings.
That sounds super complicated.
It is pretty clever, yeah. It all starts with something called token-to-topic mapping. They're basically teaching the AI to understand different subjects before it even starts writing.
Hold on. Can we back up a sec? What are tokens in this context?
Oh, good point. Tokens are just the individual units of language that the AI uses: words, punctuation marks, things like that.
Okay, so the AI is learning to link those tokens to different topics.
Exactly. Like the word cat would be linked to the topic animals,
Right.
but it gets much more complex than that. They use these things called semantic embeddings. It's like creating a map where words with similar meanings are grouped together.
Like a giant word map.
You got it.
That's kind of blowing my mind.
And here's the key. They also create embeddings for the topics themselves. So animals gets its own spot on the map, technology gets its own spot, and so on.
So each topic has its own little neighborhood on this giant word map.
Exactly. And then the system calculates how close each word is to each topic. If a word's meaning is close to a topic, boom, it gets added to that topic's green list.
Wow. So it's not just random. The AI is actually learning the relationships between words and topics.
Yep, and this is all done before any writing even happens.
That's wild.
It is, isn't it?
Hmm.
But what happens to words that don't fit neatly into one topic? Like, what about play? It could relate to sports or animals.
Yeah, good point. Do those words just get left out?
Nope. They have a system for that, too. Those kinds of words get assigned to a topic list using a round-robin method.
Okay, so every word gets a home.
Exactly. Which is important for making the watermark strong and reliable.
This is all making sense, but how does it actually work in practice? Like, if I tell the AI to write something, how does it know which green list to use?
That's where the prompt-guided selection comes in. So let's say you give the AI a prompt to write about the latest advancements in artificial intelligence.
Okay.
The system would analyze that prompt and figure out that the main topic is technology.
So it's like the AI is reading the assignment and figuring out what it's supposed to write about.
Exactly. And then, once it knows the topic, it chooses the corresponding green list, all the words that are semantically linked to technology.
And then, as it's writing, it gets subtly pushed to use those words.
Right. But remember, those green list words all naturally relate to the topic anyway.
So it doesn't sound forced or weird.
Nope. The writing still flows naturally.
That's incredible. It's like hiding the watermark in plain sight.
Exactly. But of course, the big question is, how easy is it to actually detect this hidden watermark? And can people figure out how to break it?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Well, we'll dive into all of that after a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
All right, so this system can hide these watermarks in the text based on the topic, but how do we actually find them? Like, how do we know for sure if something was written by AI?
Well, it's a pretty cool process, actually. It kind of mirrors the generation side. The system analyzes the text, figures out the main topic, and then it looks for a ton of green list words for that specific topic.
So it's like, if I'm reading an article online about, let's say, a new scientific discovery,
Right.
how would I know if it was watermarked with this topic-based method?
Okay, so the system would first have to figure out what's this article really about. Probably science or medicine in that case. And then it would look for a bunch of words from that topic's green list, more than you'd usually see in something written by a human.
So like it's spotting a pattern that wouldn't happen naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm thinking about all those people out there who are always trying to like outsmart this system.
Oh, for sure.
How do we know this watermark can't be broken?
That's the big question, right? And that's why this topic-based approach is so cool, because that green list is always changing depending on what the subject is.
Ah, I see. So someone trying to mess with a watermark would have to figure out a whole new green list
Yeah.
for each topic.
It's not like one code they can just crack and use everywhere.
Right. So they'd have to be like master code breakers,
Basically.
constantly adapting to the topic.
Exactly. And remember, the AI isn't just picking random green words. It's choosing words that make sense for the topic.
So if you tried to change the watermark, you'd probably end up with some pretty weird sounding writing.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be obvious something was off.
Okay, so this topic-based approach sounds pretty solid,
It is.
but I'm sure they didn't just like assume it worked.
Oh, no.
They put it to the test.
Oh, yeah. They really wanted to see how strong this watermark was. So they actually used these AI paraphrasing tools like Pegasus and Dipper.
What do those do?
They can reword text but keep the meaning the same. So it's kind of like having AI try to mess with the watermark.
AI versus AI.
Exactly.
What happened? Did the watermark hold up?
It did. The topic-based watermarking worked really well. It was better than other methods, even after the text was reworded.
That's impressive. It's like no matter how much you try to change the words, the watermark is still there.
Yep. It's woven into the meaning itself.
Okay, but what about other kinds of attacks? Like couldn't someone just, add typos or swap out words or delete stuff to try to break the watermark?
You're good at this. You're thinking like an attacker.
Uh-huh. Maybe a little.
But yeah, the researchers thought about that too. They tested the watermark against all sorts of changes to the words.
Like trying to pull at the threads to see if it would unravel?
Exactly. And the topic-based watermarking was super tough. It could handle a lot of tampering.
This is making me feel a lot better about the future of AI. It seems like we're actually developing ways to make sure it's used responsibly.
I think so too. This research is a huge step in the right direction.
Especially now that it's getting so hard to tell what's real and what's made by AI.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm sure there are still some challenges.
Oh, of course. Nothing's perfect.
What are some of the things researchers are still working on?
Well, one thing that can be tricky with this topic-based method is something called topic mismatch.
Topic mismatch. Okay, now I'm really curious.
So remember how the system needs to figure out the main topic of the text to create the right watermark?
Right, like is it about sports,
Right.
medicine, or whatever?
Exactly. But sometimes the topic can change or get kind of blurry, especially with longer pieces of writing.
So it's like the AI starts writing about one thing, and then it goes off on a tangent about something totally different.
Yeah, and then the green list it was using doesn't really fit anymore.
Ah, I see. So that's topic mismatch.
Yep. And that can make it harder to detect the watermark.
That makes sense. So are they just stuck then?
Not at all. They're coming up with some pretty cool ways to solve this problem. Well, one idea is something called multi-topic watermarking. Imagine being able to tag different parts of the text with different watermarks depending on what each part is about.
Oh, so it's like instead of one big watermark, you have lots of little ones that change as the topic shifts.
Exactly.
Well, that's smart.
It is, right. And another idea is to use this hierarchical system for organizing topics. Imagine a family tree of topics, like you have sports at the top, and then branching off from that, you have basketball, and then even more specific stuff like NBA.
So it's like giving the AI a much deeper understanding of how topics connect to each other.
Exactly. And that would help create even more precise watermarks.
Okay, so it sounds like the researchers are really on top of this.
They are. They're not just trying to create cool tech, they're trying to make sure it's used responsibly.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it is. It's really important. I think we need to step back for a second, though, and think about the big picture here. We've been talking a lot about the technical stuff, but this watermarking technology could have huge implications for, everything.
Like the whole internet.
Yeah, basically. News, creative writing, even the way we trust information online. It's a big deal.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to talk about all of that. The big picture stuff, the implications of all this amazing research.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And I got to say, all this watermarking stuff, it's really got me thinking.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
It is. Like we've been talking about how it works, the technical side.
Right.
But what does it actually mean for us? You know, for people out there just trying to, navigate the internet.
That's the important question, right? How does it impact our lives?
Because it's not just about catching, students cheating or bots online.
No.
This feels way bigger than that. This
Yeah.
feels like it's about trust.
Exactly. As AI gets more and more advanced, it's harder to tell what's real and what's fake.
Right.
And watermarking could be a way to know for sure.
Like a way to verify what we're seeing online.
Yep. To create that chain of trust, even when things are getting blurry between, humans and machines.
So it's almost like we need a whole new set of skills for the internet.
Yeah.
Like a new digital literacy.
Totally. We need to be able to spot the signs, to know what to trust and what to question.
Because think about it, news articles could have watermarks.
Yeah.
Research papers, even creative writing, like books and stuff.
Right. It'd be like a stamp of authenticity saying, hey, a human made this and no one's messed with it.
That would be huge, especially with all the deep fakes and misinformation out there.
It would. It could really help us have more faith in what we see online.
And I'm thinking about, artists and musicians and writers.
Oh, yeah.
They could use watermarking to protect their work, right? Make sure they get credit for it.
Absolutely. It'd be like a new kind of copyright protection built right into their creations.
No more stealing or plagiarizing because, boom, you can check the watermark and see who the real creator is.
Exactly.
But, okay, got to play devil's advocate here for a sec. We've been talking about all the good stuff, but couldn't watermarking be used for, bad things too?
That's a really important point. Any technology can be misused, right? It depends on who's controlling it.
Right. Like what if governments used it to censor stuff? Or control what information people see?
That's a possibility we have to think about, for sure.
It feels like we need to have these conversations now, before it's too late.
I agree. We need researchers, policymakers, ethicists, everyone, really, to be talking about this and figuring out how to make sure watermarking is used for good.
To make sure it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the nitty-gritty of how watermarks work to, the huge implications for society.
Yeah, it's been quite a deep dive.
It has. And it seems like this technology could totally change how we think about information and trust and creativity in the digital age.
It really could. It's exciting to see where it all goes from here.
Definitely. And if you're as fascinated by this as we are, check out the show notes for a link to that research paper from Case Western Reserve University.
It's a good one.
It is. And as always, let us know what you think. Hit us up on social media. We love hearing from you.
Yeah, come join the conversation.
All right. That's it for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds engaged.
See you next time.